Hi, I'm Joseph LeBeau, and I'm the Director of Youth Ministries here at University United Methodist Church in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm here to explore the tradition of Sabbath and its importance in modern society. In this video, I'm going to give a basic overview of the tradition of Sabbath, explain modern ways of putting it into practice, and even give examples from my own life. Let's get into it. What is Sabbath? The basic definition that I'm working from is to set aside time for rest, reflection, and spiritual nourishment. Historically, the idea of Sabbath comes from the book of Genesis in the Hebrew Scriptures. When God created the world, God rested on the seventh day. This verse does not specify any specific way that God rested. When people say resting as God rested, they're referencing the very beginning of the Bible and how it relates to our daily lives. The observance of Sabbath varies among different cultures and religions. No matter how you go about Sabbath, it's important to understand its significance in many religious teachings. The important reminder is that no one does this perfectly. Author Shelley Miller gives this quote in her book, Rhythms of Rest: Finding the Spirit of Sabbath in a Busy World. She says, Sabbath isn't about resting perfectly, it's about resting in the one who is perfect. No matter what practicing Sabbath looks like in your life, I think that disconnecting from technology or daily distractions is an important foundational aspect to include. I know in my life, it's difficult to focus on my spiritual connection with God when I'm distracted by a mass of emails, text messages, or push notifications. If you primarily use a Bible app for reading scripture, you can still use that, but it might be helpful to put your device on focus mode so that it doesn't become a distraction. The big distinction between just resting on a normal Saturday afternoon and Sabbath is that Sabbath has a purpose to it. So there's a difference between painting for fun and using art as a means to actively seek God. In my life, disconnecting from technology is one of the primary ways of connecting with God. One thing that gives me life is taking a walk. While I'm walking, I actually prefer to not listen to music or a podcast. I want to be present to the world around me, and more importantly, present to the promptings of my Creator. Now that seems like a daily task that is simple, and it is, but it's a way for me to connect with God. For me, sometimes I have to work extra hard at carving out intentional time because my wife also works at the same place of employment. So I have to be intentional to carve out a section of Sabbath so that way I can plug in to a relationship with my Creator, so I can present my best self to everyone that I interact with. Other examples that may work for you include refraining from work, spending time with family, attending religious services, meditation, prayer, art, any activity that prompts spiritual growth. I want to take the time to recognize that taking Sabbath is not always easy. Sometimes life gets busy and it's hard to find time. With that being said, building in Sabbath as a part of your routine may be helpful. If you have a job that's flexible, maybe you can take one off day for Sabbath. Or if you work a more structured job that determines hours, maybe you do sun up to sundown, or the time that you get home from work to the time that you leave for work, or maybe even you just schedule 1 hour a day for intentional Sabbath. I would like to leave you with this thought. When life is difficult and tiring, often the best gift a person can receive is permission to stop and rest. This freedom, experienced in stepping away from driving and controlling life, reminds us of a God who cares for us and loves us because of who we are, not what we do. I hope this video has given you pause and a chance to think about how you will engage Sabbath in your own life. If you found this video helpful or want to learn more about Christian practices, click the links below to check out some of the other videos in this series.